Welcome to Invest. We talk about investing, finance, and professional development. So I've been working with a couple of my Wall Street colleagues that works at respective investment firms like ARK Invest, JP Morgan, and obviously BlackRock, which are three of the largest investment institutions on both the stock side but also on the crypto side. And I came up with a collaboration, a partnership to get their daily trades, their daily buy, sell, hold signals that they provide to their institutional investors. I was able to, very fortunately to also get their updates as well, knowing the fact that I am one as an institutional investor, and I do work in collaboration with a lot of these investment firms. So every single night after the market close, I will be receiving, their daily buying or selling, activities. And what I decide to do is basically come with an agreement, and I basically talk to my friends like, hey, is it okay if I share with my Patreon members? And they decide to say, yeah, it's okay, knowing the fact that I am an institutional investor, and it's important that investors should know how the large whales are performing their investments on a day-to-day basis, right? So what I decide to do is basically to come up with a list that will be updated every single night after the market close for ARK Invest portfolio, the entire portfolio, and also for BlackRock as well. And if you look into it, and what you can see if you subscribe to our Patreon is you will understand what the whales, or the large investors are buying or selling on a day-to-day basis. And the chart is really simple to digest, right? If you look into the chart, you'll see that on the left side of the chart will be the company's name, with respect to the ticker symbol, what's the current price that they're trading at, and with respect to the key information. If you look into it, I could zoom in for us, right? And as of the last market close, which was on July 1st, which was on Friday, you can see that ARK Invest has sold a good amount of stocks, right? Like you see Zoom, Tesla, CRISPR, just et cetera, et cetera. And what you see on a day-to-day basis after market close, and I get the information from my buddies from these investment firms, you get to see how many shares are they selling that day, how many shares have they liquidated, and how have their total shares that ARK still owns at the moment have changed over time based on the weight, right? In addition to seeing how much they have sold or how many shares they have sold, you will also be able to see, how many shares that have been not changed at all, to how many shares they've bought. Actually, if you look into it, let me just zoom out a little bit. You could see that they have bought in quite significantly with these selective stocks that you see below, right? Pfizer, Moderna, which is quite active. So something that you might want to like look into and triangulate and refer to on a day-to-day basis if you're a stock investor, because by following the trades from these institutional investors, knowing when to buy and when to sell ahead of it happening can give you a great probability of success by understanding how the market momentum will look like, right? And also, when you see like a large liquidation for one respective stock, right, you get this information like on a very live basis. So you wouldn't be surprised when something happens. Or so this is very, very live type of information, and I hope you guys hold this to your dear heart, because if you can understand how much institutional investors are buying or selling on a day-to-day basis, or just holding, right? If nothing is happening, it gives you a good indicator on how you should be performing your long-term, short-term type of trade dynamics, right? So that's ARK Invest. I also do the same thing for BlackRock, which is a lot bigger. You could see the amount of stock that they buy and sell are massive, right? If you look into it. And this is just as of July 1st, right? And I will be updating this on a day-to-day basis going forward. It's important that everybody knows. And BlackRock is the largest institutional investors in the world, by asset under management. So the volume that they do is quite market driving, right? And with respect to some of the activities, you could see that it ranked by basically how much they've sold that day by the highest amount. And obviously, with respect to the amount that they bought, you could see that they have been quite bearish, recently. Not changing a lot with respect to the existing holding, but with respect to the amount that they have sold, amounts to billions of dollars just as of July 1st, which is quite, as just eye-opening, to be honest with you, right? So by following these indicators, right, on a day-to-day basis, you'll get to understand how the whales are buying, selling, or holding on a day-to-day basis. So you won't have, any, misconceptions, or you'd be surprised whenever something majorly happens, right? So, I've decided to include this, for those that are interested into following the institutional buying activities or selling activities, by including a new tier that will, give you guys an opportunity to, get more clarity and get the information ahead of what the institutional investors are doing, right? So, with respect to the silver tier, that is a new inclusion on our account subscription. You obviously pay about 65 cents per day, which is like just like 50 cents per day. You obviously get to communicate with me on a direct access perspective, but obviously in comparisons to like the YouTube Wild West, which is quite hard for us to communicate without me, or thinking that is a spam message or something like that. And also sometimes YouTube blocks it anyways. So you get that private community, you also get to communicate with the other tier members as well. In addition to that, obviously with this new inclusion, the ARK Invest buy sell hold signal and the BlackRock buy sell hold signal, and I plan on working with other institutional investors onto implementing more buy sell hold signals, right? So collectively we can have that collective wisdom on seeing what the institutional investors are doing on a day-to-day basis, right? And I think by having that observation, then that clarity in terms of like how the big whales are acting on a day-to-day basis, it'll give us a good hedge, so we're not surprised, right? And obviously with respect to all the other members like gold, platinum, and all the higher ups, you guys will all get that benefits as well, right? So hopefully this is helpful, and this is quite intuitive, and I right now just want to do the two largest ones first, but I'll be adding on more to it, like BlackRock and ARK Invest are the most I would say in terms of magnitude of driving the market, it gives the best flavor. And I think a lot of stocks that you guys are interested in are included in these levels, right? So hopefully you guys will find this beneficial in terms of how you risk mitigate and how you invest logically going forward. Okay, so appreciate you. Have a good rest of the day, and let me know if you have questions. Okay, take care. Bye.